Hi guys, my name's Tristan. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, consider subscribing if you're interested in Second Amendment, outdoor stuff, and a little bit of medicine sprinkled in here and there. And if you're coming back to watch another video, welcome back. It's good to have you. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to disassemble and clean the AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Now I feel like with the gaining popularity over the last few years in this style of weapon, a lot of people may have been looking for a good class to take or a good video to learn from about how to take this apart and clean it. So digging into the AR-15, as with every other weapon, you want to ensure that it is clear and safe. So you can see we have no magazine inserted. And it is in fact clear. The second thing you want to do when disassembling your rifle is there are two takedown pins. Right here and right here. You want to press those pins and they should go pretty easily, and then on the opposite side they will protrude just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take out the first one first, or the back one first, and you're going to get what's called a shotgun style rifle breakdown. From here you can do a very quick clean out of your AR-15 without disassembling the entire thing entirely. You can take out your charging handle and your bolt carrier group, which this is your bolt carrier group. And this will be your charging handle. Next up, after those two are out, you're going to have a clear entry to your chamber and your barrel. Now if you look through, you can actually see clear to the other end of your barrel. Now let's go ahead and take out the second one to get this guy entirely broken down. The second pin, I mean. And boom, your rifle is now taken apart. Now there's one part that you should take out every single time you do a quick clean out or a deep clean of your rifle, and that will be your buffer housing group. Your buffer spring, your buffer tube. To do this, you get that little nipple right here. As you push it down, the buffer spring will come out along with the buffer tube, just like so. And you've got a clean area. You've got everything out. You can set everything aside. Since I am down a hand today, I will not be breaking down the bolt housing group. It's kind of hard to deal with only 4 fingers on my left hand, and it requires leverage from both hands. Let's go ahead and break open our rifle cleaning kit. This is the rifle cleaning kit I got. If you guys want to check that out, I bought it at Range USA here in the city that I live in. It was actually closed, so we're going to go ahead and open this up now. There we go. So opening up your first cleaning kit, you've got a handle for all of your bore punching. You've got 4 rods it does look like. You got some rods here, so you can actually punch the bore and go through the barrel. 4. You've got a pick, so you can scrape away any carbon, if you do please. You've got a brush. This is more so a barrel brush than anything else. You've got a bore brush. I call this a Christmas tree because it's kind of shaped like a Christmas tree. You've got another brush where this can be attached to one of the rods, and you can use it that way, and then you can attach it to the handle, just like so. You've got another little pick that you can use to scrape away carbon. Chamber flag, it does look like, so you know your weapon is clear. There we go. Some napkins or little towelettes you can use to clean out or wipe down your rifle. And you got some barrel sponges. I would call these a sponge because they soak up CLP like crazy. Another very important thing that you want to have with you is some sort of cleaning lubricant. Now this can be CLP, it can be a protectant, it can be a corrosive to help eat away the carbon. You don't want anything that's corrosive to metal, but something to eat away that dried on carbon from when you go out and shoot is always very helpful. Okay, so first thing is first, what I like to do is I like to very liberally apply CLP to the inner of the upper receiver. and down into the bolt key so that it can soak in, so it can start to do some work. And I will sprinkle on some CLP to everything that metal touches. So metal on metal is what I'm going for here. Just to give a little nice lube area to work with. Now, do I always go through and do a deep clean? Not very often. Maybe one every 5 to 10,000 rounds. Now the brush, this will come in handy right now actually. You're going to take the brush, if you have a kit like this, or you can even use an old toothbrush. I've done that before. Just don't let charcoal be on it. Just get a generic toothbrush from Walgreens or your local CVS or wherever you're at. You're going to do a nice good scrub to help break some of that carbon up. Get all around that upper receiver. Getting that gas key. Now you can see even after just a few wipes how dirty that has gotten. So you know that there's some carbon in there. You know you haven't done as good a job as you might have thought cleaning this in the past. Now I would generally use a towel for this, but I don't have one right now, so I'm just going to use some of these wipes that I have. These came with an old cleaning kit that I still have, and a lot of the stuff that's in this I also put in this. This is a separate cleaning kit that I built from all of my handgun cleaning kits, and it's really quite useful. And the next thing I want to do is I want to clean out the barrel. So I'm going to do this two different ways. One, I'm going to clean out where the barrel starts with the bore brush, or with the barrel, or this guy. I'm going to stick another rod on it so I have more room to work with. And I'm also going to put some more CLP down into where I'm going to be cleaning. Now I'm going to take this handle, I'm going to attach it. I'm going to attach it. I'm going to take this brush, the small one here, and I'm going to add on another couple rails so I can get it completely through the barrel or the bore of the rifle. Now I've never cleaned the barrel of my rifle, so I know it's going to be nice and dirty, but that's okay because we're doing that now. And I haven't had any misfires or malfunctions with this rifle so far in the lifetime that I've had it, and it seems to be treating me pretty well. But before we get started into that, I am going to take some more CLP and drip it down into the barrel. That should be enough for a good cleaning. Now the last thing I want to do with this is give it another good wipe down. One of the two last things I should say. Just wipe down the inside of the upper receiver once again. As you're cleaning it out, sometimes the carbon will spray back into where the upper receiver chamber and all that, the extraction port and all that actually lie. You can see that, got pretty dirty. Now the last section I want to work with is a little star-shaped octagonal piece. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to attach it to something. And that is all finished up for the upper receiver. You can see the dirt coming off of that, the carbon, everything that you see black on my fingers, as well as on the sponge cleaning tool. That's all carbon. That's nastiness you don't want inside your rifle. The next step after the upper receiver is done is we're going to take a new wipe and we're going to clean off our charging handle. This is a pretty straightforward thing. It's just really a wipe. Maybe you can use the brush if you really want to, and I think I will. It's a little more corrosive than just the wipe, or abrasive, so it can help build up or break off that carbon on the charging handle. Go ahead and flip. After the charging handle is all cleaned off, reinsert it into your upper receiver. There are 2 divots, which I don't know if you guys can see that, but they are right here. There's also a little slot down there, roughly the size of a circle. You want to fit those divots inside the slots on the top half of the upper receiver. Then when you put the bolt in, or the bolt housing group, the little star, the same kind of shape that we used here to clean, that's also on the end of the bolt. So you want to toss that forward. You can punch it out like I just did, just flick of the wrist, or you can quite literally, if you can get a grip on it, you can drag it out in a twisting motion just like that. So you want that outward. So you're just gonna slap those 2 back in there. They are seated and they are they are good to go. And the last thing I want to do before we're done with this completely is to just give a little extra hints of CLP, which acts as a lubricant to the bolt housing group, just 2, maybe 5 or 6. And then we're going to pull the charging handle out again just a bit so we can put a little more down in the charging handle. And that will help keep your rifle nice and lubricated. Now moving on to your lower receiver. A lot of people that I have met in the past, they get really good with firearms and they can disassemble the entire trigger housing group. But I am not that good. So we are going to take that weapon off safe. It is obviously safe. It's completely disassembled. And we're just going to let that hammer drive forward just like that. And we're going to drop some CLP down into the lower receiver. And then we're going to take our brush, this brush, and start trying to wipe away any of that CLP. Something that would be very useful, but I didn't think to grab, are some Q-tips, because they can get down into the crevices and work out some of that CLP a little bit better. But we do have some more little wipes here we can use. I'll just use an old one. Just get down in there. Now that that's done, we can use that same brush, stick it on a rod, and then we can clean our buffer tube. Where the buffer assembly all goes. Now this is located in your buttstock. Whether you have a fixed buttstock or a solid one, or an adjustable one like this one, or something similar. It'll all work pretty much the same. Now that that's cleaned out, let's go on to our buffer spring. This is a pretty simple wipe. We're not going to do too much with this. We're just going to take one of your cleaning cloths or a towel or whatever you're using and just wipe around the outside in whichever fashion you choose. I like to go in a cylindrical motion, so I'll just lay it down on the tabletop and then roll it over just like that, and then keep working it down so I can get all the springs on the exterior at least. The interior part of the springs I don't worry too much about because they're a little more difficult to get to for the most part. And because those do roll metal on metal, I also drop a little bit of CLP on that same towel, that same rag I was using. And then I will lubricate the outside, or the buffer spring in general. And that should be good there. Now for the actual buffer, this is also pretty damn simple. Quick wipe down. Nothing too crazily serious. It can get pretty dirty, especially if you've shot it a lot and you haven't cleaned this part specifically in a while, but generally doesn't get terribly dirty. We're good to go. So you're going to reassemble the two. You just force them back together, just like this. It clicks. And then with the one of the 3 flat faces down, you're going to stick that buffer spring back in. You're just going to guide it right back to where it started. And now you're ready to reassemble your rifle and do your weapons function test, which I will show you here in just a moment as well. So to put it back together, you're going to lay them. Now to put your rifle back together, you're just going to fit it together just like so, making sure that your takedown pins are still out. You're going to push that first one in, that'll lock it into place, and then the second one, and then you can do weapons functions test. And how that really usually works is, so your weapons function test would go like this. Let's get this set. Safety on, rack, no click, no bang. Safety off, rack, click, rack, clunk. You clunk there, and then if you have an automatic weapon, you would do the same thing for that setup too. Then you can go click again. You can do as many times as you want. But I know my rifle is functioning properly, and that is how you disassemble and clean your AR-15. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video or got something out of it, I know it was a little dry and pretty monotone. I'm not feeling too well right now. My pain is kicking up with my hand, but I did the best I could for you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And what would you do differently with cleaning your weapon?